Go live. Are we live? Is this live?
Cry.
Start. Starting. Started. Starting. Hello. Oh, you can see us. Okay, good. Hello. It works. Okay, so welcome to the Q&A. This is the after party. We're going crazy in this after party. We
Oh
got
my god.
soju bottles. We've got
That-
food everywhere.
no.
Oh,
Well, unfortunately, we cannot drink
were you
soju.
were you crying during the documentary?
Of course. Who else?
Who else out there was crying during the documentary?
Raise
All of
your
you?
hand.
I don't think they
Oh
could
my
even raise their
god,
hands.
my eyes are red.
Yeah, but thank you so much for watching. I'm glad you liked it. I'm glad you all enjoyed it very much. It was really a labor of love. It was something like it took a lot of convincing for you to believe me when I said let's make it into a documentary. Let's make a movie out of it. Because there is a book. For those of you who don't know, my mom wrote a book. And so the book isn't out yet, but the book also has more story in it. So,
In detail.
as you may have noticed in that
His childhood.
yeah, well, also much more story there.
Yeah.
As some of you may have noticed, there was a costume change. You had two different shirts, and your hair was up and down.
Because we are doing for a couple of days.
We interviewed my mom for 2 days, and also big
Yeah.
shout out to Ethan for helping out with the filming of all of it and helping out with some of the editing, but also huge thank you to my editors, Lixie and Marcus Rachel, all of them, especially Marcus for organizing all of the footage and labeling it and being like just an enormous help leading up to it, but all of them were extremely helpful. It was wonderful, and I'm so glad that it was able to be shared with you guys in that way. It was real down to the wire because I was editing it all the way up until last night.
Yeah.
But it was worth it. You know, I love being able to put work into these things and really like amp up the quality as much as possible. So I really, really, truly am grateful that you were all here to see it. And now I'll turn it over to my mom, and then we'll get questions going. But if you would like to speak about the documentary you just saw, I'll start to look at questions and get them in
Well,
order.
last night he said, "Mom, I need your help. I need some translation coming here." He already did with other people, but there's just some translation they didn't understand. So, as we went through partially, I saw it. I thought to myself, "Oh my goodness, oh, I look so fat. I should have
You
lost a
did,
little
you
more
did.
weight."
You look
That's all I was thinking. Oh, I look so dumpy.
No. You didn't see everyone. We were watching everyone talking the whole time, and everyone
I
was
know,
like, "Oh,
but
so
you know what?
gorgeous."
Woman is woman, regardless of your age.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Oh, I was looking at it. Oh, you could lose a little more weight. Go back to exercise. But you know what? When you get older, food pleasure. What else pleasure you have? Food.
Food. Well, I mean, that's kind of part of the whole Korean experience.
Yeah.
Koreans
Korean.
love
Being
food.
Korean is love to cook and eat.
It's interesting because over the past even just 10 years, what do they call it? Hallyu, the Korean wave, is that what it's called? So there's been a Hallyu.
Hallyu.
Yeah.
Korean way.
Yeah, so there's been a surge in like Korean culture.
And food.
But yeah, it's all a lot of it's food. Like there's K-pop
Yeah.
and whatnot, and there's Korean dramas and TV. But food is really like ubiquitous. Everyone who has eaten Korean food really understands Koreans love to eat, and
Oh,
they
yeah.
they have so many different varieties of food that basically absorb a
Yeah.
lot of other cultures' food and transform
Yeah.
it with their own, and also just a rich tapestry of food
Yeah.
in Korea. So
You cannot talk about Korean culture without food, okay?
yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's so important, and that was also
So
part of the
important.
story.
Yeah.
We in the documentary. The documentary is about an hour and 20 minutes. In terms of the cut down after what we recorded, do you want to know how long the footage of you just you talking?
You
the
said
full story.
long 6 hours.
6 hours of just you telling the story. That's how much was in the book that had to be cut down for the documentary to focus
Because
on.
in my book, I start with my father and his life, couple of years life from 16 to 18, how he survived when his brother was joined South Korea went back to North Korea. He's alone and things like that. And then finally he was waiting. He was carrying the water to carry to the restaurant. That's a way of, he never worked in his entire life. Now he have to work for a living,
Mm-hmm.
and this that I mentioned he had to cut. Not only that, a lot of things that my childhood, how I spent my childhood. There's a certain story that a little bit true story. My sister also, when we went there, she said that it happened to her too. So it's not just me. Unfortunate thing happened when during the childhood, and which you know make me who I am. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean?
Yeah.
I more like isolate myself from other people.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to date Korean men because I was fear of Korean men
Mm-hmm.
because of the childhood experience with my cousin.
Mm-hmm.
It's in my book, but we have to take that out and then things like that. And then the story before I went to America and the living after not only giving birth to you, the process of giving birth to 10 pound 3 ounces naturally at the hospital
Mm-hmm.
when I don't speak much English and the nurse just overlook at me, huh? Like my pain is not there. It's like, huh? It's just like that, and how you've been treated at the hospital. To the later, I decided, I'm gonna do something. My English is still very very short at the time, and I was only 27. The time that I decided I'm gonna major in nursing because I feel like I can handle at least, although I don't speak perfect English, because nursing is not so like you don't have to speak that perfectly. A lot of foreigner from nowadays Africa people come and I seen a lot of them. They hardly speak good English, but as long as they pass the exam and education, they get the certification, then they go work in a nursing home, then later eventually hospital, which I did that way.
Yeah.
That step, along with that time they were little, Mark and Thomas was little, so I have a good memory of them how they behaved
Mm-hmm.
since they were little, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That major event. And Mark, he always fell, cut himself, did that. Uh,
So yeah.
that story itself is like whole page.
Yeah, there's basically all the story of you going to America, my early childhood. Um, the documentary kept the focus of the story on just family in
Yeah,
Korea and like
this
your
documentary
father.
you barely ever to cover just big picture, but the little thing have to be come with my book when it's published.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully he said he will do it because in there you can see how Marco behaved when he was little, how my life was to become a nurse and unfortunately, me and later when I was 35, 36, I met my second husband, Larry, Frank, and then the decision, the agony, all that thing, and you know his life. I mean, you name it. The suffering. Not only that life. My husband was sick for 17 years. I don't know. Many people probably now not know my second husband from traumatic brain injury. So I had to support him for 17 years. I was young enough, but I could not go forward because I still married to me. It's by my choice because I didn't want So anyway, he passed away this year from COVID. Um, so now actually now I have a time to think and looking back, how did I survive? Finally, I can breathe a little better. It just I feel like I give him a second chance of my life back.
Mm-hmm.
Finally, my responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So
So there's so much more
so
story
much
to be
more to
told.
told.
And the book, basically, I've been so busy with the other things of getting this documentary done that I haven't had time to either hire an editor or oversee the editing of the story itself to the point where it could be a book. But when it does come out, we will let you know, and I will let you know. And then there will be another moment where you may or may not disappoint my mom, but I'm happy to say my mom is not disappointed in all of you. You have done my mom proud. And also, yes, great voices do run in the family.
Oh,
Hyung
yeah.
Bae is an actor in Korea. If anyone
Yeah.
is in the casting department in South Korean movies or any movies, Hyung Bae, he doesn't even have an agent. Someone should represent him. He's going to be a big star, and we're all going to help make him a
You
big
know what?
star.
The famous Korean gangster, Mr. Ma. Remember Mr. Ma?
I don't
Ma
think any
Dong-sik.
who I don't think anyone knows. I don't
Anyway,
know who that is.
he's not a handsome fellow, but he's kind of big and kind of a rough looking but cute.
Hyung Bae is
No,
super
no, no, I'm
handsome.
not him.
Oh,
Not
how dare
him.
you.
No, no, I'm talking
Oh,
about Ma Dong-seok.
Okay.
You know, people. Do you guys know Ma Dong-seok, Korean actor?
I don't think they would know.
Anyway, you know, he was actually he lived in America for a long time, but he wanted to act, but nobody will hire him because how he looked, kind of rough, not so handsome, not like a K-pop. But he got hired to do role like 10 years ago, and he became a superstar. Because how he act, he just have a lot of character. People like that kind of look. And anyway, this is true story. When Hyungbae started out, he was very, very. He wanted to do well, but did not have much confidence in himself. Remember? And then last time, 3 years ago before COVID, we went there. And then it took me. We have to wait another 3 years to go, which is this year, because COVID. Before even if we wanted to go, we couldn't go. But 3 years ago, when I met Hyungbae, he just was starting out his acting in like casting as gangster. Usually, his acting he got cast is a role of a gangster, not a major gangster. But he was like a
underling.
underneath boss serving the boss gangster. That's the role he usually take. He will give it to him. Why? Because his height is 6 foot, almost 5. He's very tall, and he weighs about he's very like big, and I gave him advice to him when he was a little discouraged. I don't get main character. I only get gangster role and little part. 3 years ago, I told him later. I think I told him actually when we went back this time. I did not tell him. I only told Hyungbae. When I saw Hyungbae being discouraged over his role and like that, Hyungbae, listen. People want to hire you for the role, gangster role, because you look like you can represent the roles better than playing other role. So if I were you, I'll fake until it become who you are. Why don't you the best gangster you can be? Huh? And I said, oh, he was listening. He was listening, and I didn't know that. I just tell him casually as a Momiplier, like a mom, auntie giving advice. If I were you, I take, even though they give me a 5 minutes role in the movies, I'd be the damn good gangster they ever seen. And also, he said, how I can be like that? I said, you know what? He really liked to eat a lot of food. He was very, he always liked to eat food. And his father always tell me, you're too fat. You need to lose that weight, belly. Get on a diet. And I said, listen, your bone is already, you're big. You're tall. So and they want to give you gangster role. To become a best gangster, let me give you advice. Do not diet. You know what you do? Go to the gym and build more muscle right here. Make your shoulder as big as you can be. So compared to your belly, you know what I mean? Oh, after 3 years when we met him at the airport, he appeared as if the gangster. He looked good, right? And then I talked to him. Oh, so you listen your aunt's advice. And he said, I did try my best to develop my shoulder, like you said. I go to gym and exercised. And he looked really good. He looked like one of the gangster, not the little role. I think he's eventually going to get the bigger one.
I would love to keep talking about Young Bay
I,
forever, but
I
this is a
can.
Q&A.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
So we're going to take questions. There were many. I've forgotten them now. Um, let's see. How did you react when I first started YouTube?
Oh, how do I didn't know he was starting YouTube there. I had no idea. I thought he was in school, engineer, you know.
Hmm.
I thought he was just doing his own business, except occasionally his room is right next to me.
Hmm.
And then occasionally on the weekend, I hear him yelling and screaming and coming from his room. And you know what? I don't know. I did maybe this is my personality. I thought to myself, ah, at least you're not going outside and doing a crazy stuff. You are in there and playing game, and this must be a part of relieving your stress. It never bothered me. I mean, he did not doing in the middle of the night. So I said, oh, sometimes he goes to the basement do it. So I said, and then it stops after a couple of an hour later. He comes back like nothing happened.
Hmm.
I didn't bother to ask. I thought this is part of him getting his stress somehow
When she
out.
found out I was not in school anymore, though, she was extremely angry.
No, I was never angry.
She was very angry.
No, no, no. That's not my
A lot of
personality.
screaming.
No, I was angry when he moved out of my house and into the apartment. As soon as he started making money through YouTube, without consult me, he didn't tell me, "Mommy, I'm gonna move out because I can afford myself now." You know what I mean? He just moved.
She was angry both times.
That's why I was angry.
And it was a fascinating thing because this wasn't the first time I had moved out into an apartment by myself. I had done that already. This was the second
No,
time I
no,
had
no. That was
left
a
the house.
different circumstance. Let's not go there. But anyway, the second circumstance, he's supposed to finish a semester. That's it. I was looking forward to him to getting his school done. Then he disappeared, and I said, "Where is Mom?" Boop. I think he didn't even tell me that he's gonna move out second time. That's why I was.
I was 5 minutes down the road.
No, it was 10 minutes.
It's 5 minutes.
But at least you have told me before you move
I
out.
told you
That's why.
before I moved, and then I moved the
no.
next day.
That's
That's before.
okay.
All
That's
right.
okay. I don't dwell on past so much. It's in the past.
All right. Next question. Do you have any other advice for mixed children trying to reconnect? At what point do we lose being Asian? As one quarter Japanese, it's scary. And I mean, like, it's
Oh,
maybe you would have some advice, and me being half Asian.
do you have mixed children trying to reconnect?
Yeah, so like I'm trying to reconnect with my Korean side. Even though I grew up with you, like it's still only in the past few years that I've really started.
You know what? I think I was very surprised about 10 years ago or 7 years back. Mark Stone asked me if I can teach him
It wasn't
Korean.
even. It wasn't even 7 years ago.
What, 5 years ago?
It was 5. Yeah.
Yeah. He said, can we start doing something? I would really like to speak your language. And actually, I was surprised that he really showing interest in learning my Korean.
Hmm.
And it startled me. And he even told me, "Mom, why didn't you teach me when I was growing up little?" Come to think, you know what? Maybe I should have taught that. I should have. I should have, could have.
But the question, at what do you think there's a point where someone loses being Asian if they're even a quarter, or how do you reconnect? Because my benefit was family.
Yeah, and that's why I said, first, travel if you can afford. I know some people, it's hard, but make a time, to go see your family, go to your country, go reconnect with your family. Have a time to go see them with your children. Introduce to that, as early as possible, or even if it's late, it's okay. Go and enjoy. And then if try to talk with your language too, and culture, showing is believing. Once you get there, oh, they like this. It's different, and I just introduce them in that way.
Hmm. Yeah. There's a lot of related questions to that, so I'll just follow up with those and answering this one is given that I'm half Korean, there's a certain barrier to trying to be a part of a culture that you may have either shunned as a child or like ignored your whole life. And the reception can be mixed, of course, depending on who your family is, even or the people that you meet. Because it's a thing. I am Korean, like in my heritage. I wouldn't consider myself a Korean citizen because I did not grow up in Korea. That's a completely different experience. It's a different life. America's really the only country in the world where you can go to America and you can become an American citizen and you are American. Like that's how America works. But Korea, it's different. I would have to, if I wanted to like really really embrace my Korean side, I would move to Korea. But then I would, if I wanted to become a Korean citizen, which there is a path for me being half Korean, I would have to join the military. I would have to do compulsory military service, the same as any other Korean citizen, and that would be like a huge life choice. So it's really like there's a difference between identifying with that nation culturally and all, but just giving thanks to where you came from and your heritage and your ancestors. I think those are two different ideals. So when it comes down to it, it's really just a personal journey. If you have family, definitely talk to your family at the very least if you can't travel. And otherwise, just like try to learn as much as you can about your heritage. You are your upbringing, no matter what you want. Where your future goes is up to you, and that's really the important distinction. Oh, sorry.
They want to ask why you choose the November 13 as documentary release date.
I didn't choose it.
Who chose that?
Moment.
This is the very coincidental.
Yeah, it's coincidence that it's on the
As
Renaissance
if I'm
anniversary.
choosing to wear this one. It was very coincident.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you have any advice for aspiring filmmakers or actors?
Oh no! Actually, what made you decide you're going to
You
make a
can't do that.
documentary?
You can't do that.
Okay,
if I
okay.
read a question and then you're
Okay,
like,
okay,
no,
okay.
how heartbreaking is that to the
Okay,
person?
I'm
just
sorry.
that's so mean.
I'm sorry, but
Anyway.
you right there.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so sorry. My mom doesn't know internet etiquette. I'm
sorry.
sorry. No,
I'm sorry.
no. It's my advice is just make as much stuff as you can. That's
Okay.
very simple advice. You can only get good by making things and continue to make things. I've been doing it for 10 years. You just got to do. There's no
Okay.
other way. Do and imagine. Don't okay. I'm answering their question. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Brooke. I'm so sorry.
I'm not used to doing that.
What was the one you wanted to? This one?
Yeah.
Okay. What made you decide that you were going to do a documentary about your family? Because my mom wanted to tell her story, and I don't write books. I write, but I write scripts and stuff like that. However, I know my capabilities in terms of making stuff, and that's part of the other question is I've been making it for a very long time. A lot of people do know me from like just gaming videos, but if you've been following my channel closely, you know that I've been doing live action video production since the beginning, since the fall of Slenderman in this very house. So I've been doing it a very long while, and it was a story that really I felt needed to be seen and heard rather than just read. Now that you've seen this, you can go and read the book and you can have a greater, deeper understanding of what the true story is. So I think it's a nice pacing.
Actually, in the beginning, I insist upon book first before documentary. But he said, no, documentary before book. Now, watching the documentary, I'm so glad you insist upon
It took a
documentary.
lot of insisting.
Yeah.
It was a lot of
I'm so
insisting. Yeah. And even though my mom watches my videos almost every day and she knows how good I am at making videos, it still took a lot of insisting. But the book will come out. The book will
Yeah,
be here.
okay.
Yeah, don't worry about that. Mom, what is your biggest inspiration besides your family? Were there any writers that truly impacted you, or cultural things, I guess, growing up or now?
My serious catalog.
I mean, honestly, that is a good answer. That really did.
That was
Yeah.
my biggest inspiration ever.
I mean, it
My
would be.
serious
It would
catalog.
to someone who's never seen anything like that. You wouldn't even know that was possible until you opened a book and saw like. These
Can you
pictures.
imagine you're about 9-year-old in Korea, growing up in Korea, around probably 1960, I don't know, 1970, early 70s. Korea at the time was quite different, than now, okay? They didn't even have a Coca-Cola, come to think. Anyway, I saw this gigantic book sitting right in front of my nose. I don't know who left there. Maybe my father brought it. Somebody gave it to him from the U.S. barracks as a living party, because they stay one year and leave. Okay, and he have to clean the quarter. Maybe he just was thrown away. He decided. Anyway, oh, at first I thought, what is this? It's giant, and the front was black and the not color. But when I flipped it, oh my, it was ladies wearing beautiful clothes, all this
Did
nice
Maggie
hair,
fart?
makeup. Yeah,
Oh my god.
Maggie is right here farting like crazy.
Oh
She's
my
getting
God.
old.
Oh.
And as I flipping and the bedding coming, what is that? People sleep in this high bedding with this decoration covering. Not only the curtain, I never seen such a beautiful curtain. Oh,
What is something that you missed being away from home, Korea, after moving to America?
nothing except my family.
Nothing?
No,
There's no snacks, no foods, no anything like that?
no.
I mean, you couldn't have been. Oh, did you find a Korean like grocery store right
Right
away?
there, right away. We were
Oh,
living
alright.
in at the time Boston, in barracks. Close, every U.S. barracks, they're meant to have some Asian market, especially Korean market, because soldier marrying a Korean lady, bring it there. So it's right there.
I think that's actually fascinating because I've noticed that more. There are a lot of like Korean, Japanese, and Chinese grocery stores. I've noticed that. I don't, and they must exist because like obviously I'm not looking for them, so I wouldn't find them. But I don't see as many other like cultures from immigrants around the world, except maybe India. India has a lot of like Indian restaurants and whatnot. But a lot of these other grocery stores specifically, like importing the Korean food has always been huge. But maybe I'm biased because you've only ever taken me to Korean grocery
Well,
stores.
I think of Korea because you know, we have, if you live near the barracks, people they station in Korea and they fall in love with the Korean lady, and naturally they bring over here, and naturally meant to have some stores, right, supplying that. Usually, not only they import directly from Korea, they make it. They have factory in LA, in Chicago, Korean food factories.
Interesting. Oh,
Right.
here's a good question. Mom, do you have any advice for someone coming from a family where sons are low key more valued? Everything I've done feels lesser. So, like in Korea, or at least in a lot of Asian countries, and I mean, guess around the world too, sons are seen as more valuable to have.
Oh,
You grew up with a family with all girls. What do you have any advice for someone else who is like maybe growing up all girls, or they're a daughter and they're not as valued as a son would be?
well, I know how you feel. This is my parents, my mother. ah, she always said, I don't have a son. I still remember every time we go see her, even her demented mind say, I don't have a son. I don't have a son. I wish I had a son. You remember still wanting to have a son.
Yeah. What was your dad that way at all though?
No, my father. You know, my father never complained. It was my mother who wanted to have a son so they can carry their last name. Not only that, at the time in Korea, having son mean it's like a life insurance. Daughter will marry off to other home than naturally customary. Not anymore. It's changed a lot. But still, my father's generation, my mother's generation, son mean their life insurance. They invest a lot of time and money. Resources. They don't have much. If I have a son, they'll give it all to son. If I have a daughter and son who's gonna send to college, of course, son. Why? Son, their responsibility is return and give back to their parents by staying at their house and marry, bring a woman, and take care of them until their old age and die off. But not anymore. That does not happen. A lot of things has changed, but because of that, I think traditionally in Korea and China, they really worship their son versus daughter. I think it's the custom. If people are starting to change, you know, I hope that they'll change. I grew up in that kind of atmosphere, not as bad as because my father never pressed upon us. It was just my mother talking, okay? Luckily. But I know some instance, other family, like if you were I've seen it, the father bring even younger wife, other wife, second wife to have a son. Is it was like that bad.
In Korea?
Yeah, it was like
Wow.
that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, if the first wife don't, can I have a son produced like my mother? If the husband do not insist, the mother-in-law will find the woman and give it, bring it home,
That's
so
fascinating.
she can have a son.
Yeah. I'm not saying this happened to our family.
Not our
No, it
family,
occurred. Yeah.
but it has occurred when I was growing up a lot. So I know what it's like, you know, being in that situation.
I have
The
a few,
the
no,
but
I have a few questions lined up.
yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so quick question to answer is it okay to not be close to family if they treated you badly? Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you don't need to be close to family.
You don't have to try to be in that family where they're not, treating you equally. Sometimes it's best to stay away, just to protect yourself. I think sometimes people have to know that you cannot but push. It's not just good family or bad family. There's people instinct, just like animal kingdom. The dogs get together and they try to fight. I'm better than you. I'm stronger than you. It happened to any family. Actually, it happened to my family too. You see, my sisters, my older sisters, they didn't welcome me. You see
She
you see
kicked
the
you in the sewer.
yeah. You see that? See the not only that. It's in my book. If you read my book, you're gonna see there's always sisterly rival. Unwittingly, wittingly, there's always there. And especially when you were a middle child, you're gonna be kicked from them because you're not the older one, okay? For example, my sister, when I returned from my grandmother, it's in my book, okay? After 6 years being away from my, staying mostly my lonely child in my grandma's farm,
Yeah.
it's in my book. When I returned, it's in my book, honey. I started to bring OA from the beginning. And my mother finally gave me the attention I never had for 6 years. And my sister looked at me like, huh, up and down, who is she? She appeared nowhere getting attention from my mother. It happened to every family. Maybe I want to go away, disappear from my home, because there was such a little resources to share. There was no room for me. You know what I'm saying? Growing up,
Yeah.
I was a middle child. I was not that important, and it's just it was not. I can feel that too much there, too much competition, too much there. So when I was given the chance, you know what I mean? Luckily, I was given the chance, and I took it, even though it was not easy because under the circumstances, but I took it and I ran. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Read my book. You see.
Read the book. It'll come out either probably early next year.
Yeah.
Is there any place that you visited that hit you emotionally more than any other?
Oh, my goodness. This was in 1999. Oh, no. Two places. When I arrived in America, it's in my book. 1985, the December, the year of December. Oh, I thought I died and straight fall into the heaven. And the snow and the town was decorated with light. Christmas tree, which I never seen. Now they celebrate Christmas. But 1985, no. Unless you go to church. I wanted to go to church, but my mother said, no, church no good. You're going to go date men in church. Oh, why? I don't like Korean men. What are you talking about? She don't know me. She don't know about my spirit. Anyway, when I arrived in America, everybody have a different hair color. You see, Korea, everybody's my darker. Actually, my hair color was not black. I was reddish, brown from the beginning. My hair was red. I don't know why. But anyway, when I come here, blonde, red, oh my God, so colorful. Oh, I thought, yeah, it must be. I died and went to somewhere out of this world. That was the place.
I think they were talking about in Korea, but that's a good answer.
And another one is in Korea. I want to get out. Get out of it. It's in my book. Why? In 1999, I had a chance to go see the mainland China, Beijing. I went to the Beijing, and I traveled, the major city with Larry, my second husband to be, because he traveled for business. I went to it's as soon as I walk in the temple, not the temple, little kingdom, like a small kingdom before the big kingdom, right? As I soon walk in there was a sign. Name was written, concubine from Korea. Yeah, they have a lot of wives.
This was a memory that impacted you the most?
Yeah.
Best?
Yeah. I don't know why. I thought, wow, in those days, China, and they have a name of concubine from Korea. What the? I don't know why. I'm not going to go in detail, but
for
it was
me,
impressive.
The most impactful place that we visited in Korea on this last trip, which is what the question was about.
Oh, the last Korea?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was my before. I did not think about documentary.
Was the temple. The temple where they have the wooden plaques.
That's for you. No.
I know, yes. That's my answer to the question that was asked
sorry.
to both.
My mind was the other way.
Yeah, yes.
Sorry.
That's the concubines in China, yes, of
Yeah.
course. All right, we only...
You see? I have very scattered brain.
We're going to we only have time for about one more question. So Mom, do you want a question that's like going to have a very serious emotional answer, or do you want one that's having more uplifting? Do you want to end this on an up note or a depressing sad note?
Depressing.
All right, okay. Good choice. Do either of you have any advice on how to deal with the grief of losing a family member or someone you were close to?
Oh my goodness.
You asked for it. You asked for it.
I have lost not only, my first husband, their father, but my second husband. So I know what it's like losing a loved one. It's terribly sad, and it's just like a deep scar, like a wound that you have to carry in your heart, okay? Even though I want to forget about it, but if we have a very sensitive soul, you're born with that kind of personality, they will show in your dream. Even once in a while, they'll come and see you in your dream as if, do you still remember me? Matter of fact, I saw his father every now and then. I think I've seen him like a week ago. He come in my dream.
Mm-hmm.
And not only that, my Larry, second husband, also come. Oh, let me show you this one. I don't know. I don't know your background, your culture, your regardless of religion. Okay, this is not something religion side or nothing. I'm a person who believe in higher power and also afterlife. Meaning, we die physically here, but somehow we're not really dead completely. Part of me still, our conscience, soul, whatever you call, still linger long enough around you as long as you live here. That's how I feel. That's how I think. Why? This year, my husband, Larry, second husband, passed away suddenly. He contracted COVID and he died. I heard the news from, I got a call. We went there. We did I was sad, and I went with my friend. He was in the nursing home. Oh, I know he was going, he was going to go eventually because he's been in bed for 17 years. It was hard to see him going down and not getting better, but still there. It was hard and hard. But when after he left, my thought was, oh my God, it has ending point. Regardless, life has an ending point. Whether you liked it or not, it's gonna all end eventually. And finally, when the time came, I thought to myself, you know what? I had a girlfriend, her name is Monette. Monette had the same losing her sister 5 years ago. And she, once in a while, she'll come to a dream. She'll see her in a dream and wanting to tell us something. And she didn't know why she's coming. I know, Mr. Fishback come to my dream, every other day, every other month, or sometimes once a week. So we had the same question. So me and her, we decided to go see psychic after Larry died. I'm telling the true story. He died in January, so we went to 3 days later. We went to see the psychic lady, highly recommended in Kentucky. As soon as I walk in there to her house, she had this place in a bathroom. She saw me walking down the step, and she said, did you lose loved one recently? I said, huh? Yeah.
That's what they ask everyone.
Huh?
They ask that to everyone.
No. She could ask my girlfriend, but she asked me, did you lose everyone?
Because you've seen your girlfriend before.
No. Then she said, no. She said, I said, how do you know? Oh, because I see him. I see him. You see the him. He could be my sister. He could be my mother. But he said, I can see him. That's the thing.
Uh-huh.
I said, you can see him? Yeah, he's right next to you. I said, where? He died 3 days ago. Huh? And, said, and then not only that, he described exactly how he look. My God. He said, you know what? He's not that tall. Larry was 5'6".
Maybe she is psychic. Maybe she Maybe she did.
And not only that, he said he liked to wear boots, isn't he? Remember Larry?
Spot on,
Spot on.
Kind of got him.
He's what he liked,
Uh-huh.
what he did. I said, how do you know? Oh, he's walking around with the click sound. It must be boots.
He's what, cowboy walking around the room with you?
Remember
Clump.
Not the cowboy.
Are you sure?
It's like the ostrich, the little boots he bought in Korea.
His snakeskin boots.
Snakeskin boot.
Mm-hmm.
He always wear because he's shorter than most.
And he always walk around clomp. Howdy, partner. Draw. I remember.
And she said that. Does he wear boots? I said, how do you know? Well, he's walking around making boots. So click. And then, oh, by the way, and then she just surprised me to the call. I was sitting here and she's describing, oh, there's another guy coming here. I start with M. I said, what? M? Momiplier? No. Something come. M. Later I found out the M was his best friend. I didn't know. Later I remember at the funeral. best friend Martin, which was his best friend, who died a month ago. They were together at my signing.
Think of a name M.
No.
It's a P. It's a P.
I didn't know what
I'm
M.
getting a Z name, a Z.
Then
Z.
later I found out that it was M and Larry. They were best friends. Now met there after life, and then come to join me at the hearing.
Stomping around in their
Stomping
cowboy
around.
boots.
And then they say, oh, they are saying in the funeral. Funeral is about a week later, okay? I posted him so he can join that. And it was January. And we're going February. Yeah. I said, the M, and I can't tell him M. And later, I didn't know what M was. And later I found it was M was a friend who died. I didn't know he died, okay? I heard from their friend at the funeral. And he said, they are saying they're going to do some celebration at the funeral. Oh, they're going to be there, but they're going to do some celebration, some kind of flower. So, man, I said, do I need to buy more flour? What do I need to do? I didn't know what she's talking about. Later, a week later, we went for Larry's funeral. Guess what? There was like 50 people about his age. Larry was a little older than I was, like 12 years. About 50 people about his age, all were there, brought white roses, 100 white roses, and putting on his casket. That was what they were trying to say. He and his friend.
So to answer your question, how do you deal with the pain of loss? Flowers.
No, pain of loss, it doesn't go away. It's like you have to live with it. But just remember, according to my psychic, they're much happier. They're much happier. Say, oh, your Larry is having the time of his life now. He don't have to confine a little bed for 17 years. Now he can fly if he want to go fly to China because he used to travel China. He's already been there. Does he like fireworks? I said, yeah. He used to really remember like fireworks.
Oh, I think most people do, but yeah.
No. The thing is that he said that. She said, the psychic said, you know what? He went to China already to see the fireworks, and I didn't connect it. I know Larry used to love to watch 4th of July fireworks. It did not dawn on me that time that we were sitting when Larry went already. Day before was February the 1st, Chinese New Year fireworks. He already been there, watched that.
So the answer is grieve in whatever way makes you feel at peace.
Yes, they are in peace, honey. They're happy. They can fly around. They can come and see us anytime they want in their dream or they were in present form. You know what? Just accept. It's life, honey. I'm sorry. When time has come, we have to go. It's sad. It's like a scar. Eventually it's going to heal. But it's going to be still there. Scar will be there. But just remember, they're in a much better place.
Memento mori.
Yeah, like that.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what they meant? Yeah.
Yeah, that's what that means. So anyway, this is all the time we have for the Q&A. I think we got a total of 5 questions answered in the hour, which is good. Very good.
Well, thank you so much for you guys supporting us, okay?
Yes, thank you so much.
It meant a lot to me.
It really did. It meant a lot to me for you guys to see the documentary, and I'm glad that, Mom, you got to see it finally after me telling you it was going to be good. And
you did a good job. I think we're going to get Oscar nomination this time.
I don't think it's how it works.
I don't know. I think it's as good as In Space with... Not as good as yours, but you know.
Oh, thank you. I try to do my best in everything I do. But thank you so much for watching this. If you got a ticket and you didn't get to see like the full thing, if there was a connection interrupt, I believe you can watch it for a full 7 days. So you can replay it. You could also still purchase a ticket if someone wasn't able to be there for the next 7 days. So
really? They can buy it?
I think it will still be.
Hey
up for
guys,
7
go
days.
tell